Everybody has been given life. Amazing, isn't it? The fact that you've been given life. Now, how we deal with that is our own choice. Some people like to look at life and they say, well, it's not fair. I was born in, and then they go on to describe what problems they have, or what situation they're found themselves in, or what circumstances have suddenly come up or has been there all along. And they feel like, well, that's not fair. Because after all, aren't all men created equal? Well, no. There's only one equality about all men. And that is, we were all born in sin, conceived in sin, and will die in sin. How's that for equality? You didn't think that being equal meant being equal as sinners, did you? Well, frankly, that's really the bottom line. Because God said we were born in sin. God has said that we were conceived in sin. God has said that, as a matter of fact, unless we do something about our sin, we're going to wind up where all sinners go. To hell. Ew. Ick. That's not fair. Well, it's not fair that someone who was innocent died for our sin. It's not fair that someone who didn't have to do what he did volunteered to do what he's done so that we could be with God. That's not fair. But you'll take it, won't you? Well, yeah, you know, as long as it keeps me out of hell. So life approaches you in a variety of ways. Sometimes it seems unfair. Sometimes it seems right. Sometimes you're just glad that, whoa, thank God that I'm where I'm at. I wouldn't want to be someplace else. Or do you? You see, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, irregardless of where it is that I am. Whether it be for the wind blowing, the rain falling, the sun shining, or God calling. Any way that we look at it, life causes us to turn our attention in some way, our focus in some means back to God. Because God is drawing us to Himself. Because He wants us to realize this isn't all there is. If you think that this life is all there is, then, no offense, God help you. Because me personally, I can't wait to check out, because I want to check in with what's going on up there, because what's going on down here don't look so good to me. I don't know about you, but God help you if you think this is all there is. Because as a creator, I would expect, quote unquote, God, if He really is God, to have something much more than all this around me, even though it's magnificent. I mean, believe me, I have gone to the farthest north in Alaska to see what was there. I have gone to the farthest south I could get. Okay, maybe I only went to Mexico. Oh, maybe Israel is farther south. Well, I went to Israel too, so that's kind of, let's see. Well, no, maybe Mexico's farther south. But anyways, the point being is that I've been to a lot of places that most people look at as beautiful and gorgeous and wonderful and exciting and all these other things. And yet, what little glimpses I've had of heaven, God forbid that I would talk about it, for it would be as though sin had come into my mouth to try to describe those things that God is compared to what God created. And boy, let me tell you, I'm ready to check out and check in with Him, because I would rather be where He is than where I am. Because wherever He is, I know I'll be blessed. And so I like the idea that God is in me, because that means that wherever I go, whatever I do, I know that God will see me through, and that God will be with me, and that God will take me where He wants me to be. And I hope that's true for you, because you see, if this is all there is for you, God help you, because this is your idea of heaven. Whew. Not for me, man. I got something better in store. And we call it God's plan. How great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee. Since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O God, besides you, what he has prepared for him that waits for him. Wait on the Lord. Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath it entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God has revealed them unto us by his Spirit. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. How excellent is thy loving kindness, O God! Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of thy wings. They shall be abundantly satisfied with the fatness of thy house, and thou shalt make them drink of the river of thy pleasures, for with thee is the fountain of life. In thy light we shall see light. Godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of life that now is, and of that which is to come. Some people say, well, you can't enjoy this life because, it's all misery and pain and suffering, and, like Solomon, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. But Solomon enjoyed life until he decided how miserable it was. He enjoyed that with which God had provided for him. And then he recognized how vain it was to pursue in ways that he did that vanity of life as opposed to the reality of living. You see, the reality of living is the acceptance of God's will for your life. It's the acceptance that God is creator. It's the acceptance that God is in control. It's the acceptance that God is light, and in him is no variableness and no darkness. There is no shadows, no turnings. There is purity. There is truth. There is light. And because of that, we can enjoy, because of what Jesus has done, the life we're living now, knowing that we have more so to come, that we can give up our freedoms to do whatever we want to do because we really don't know what we ought to do, because God has prepared something better for us if we would choose to each day walk in his will and to follow his way and to find that with which he has decided that we should be satisfied with our life, if we would walk and turn to him, knowing that he can direct us every day of our life. For surely has he not said, and has he not written in his word, to trust in the Lord with all our heart, leaning not on our own understanding, in all our ways acknowledging him, and he would direct our path? Isn't that true? Yes, it is. And the reality is, we can live it. So I guess the question is, do you have life, or are you living life? He who has the Son hath life, but he who has not the Son of God hath not life. They're not living it to the full potential that God created them to be. Because the reality of knowing God and having him in us is what makes life worth living. Now, isn't that amazing? Isn't that something that you would want to be a part of and to have in your life, so that you wouldn't just be existing as a living being and saying, oh, woe is me, I just don't know what's going to happen to me? Or live life with the full realization that God has prepared something greater than anything we could ever imagine, that the eye has not seen, the ear hath not heard, neither hath it entered the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them, even in this life. You have no idea what God has in store for you today, because the reality is, until you ask him, you won't find out. Maybe you should do that. Take a moment, stop what you're doing, back up, be still, relax, take it easy, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Wait on the Lord and be of good cheer. He shall deliver thee. To flee to the strong tower, to call upon the name of the Lord, to walk with him, to talk with him, to fellowship with the Father, to open the door so the Father and the Son would come in and spend time with you, to sup with you. to allow the fullness of the Spirit of God to baptize you, to fill you, to inspire you, to conspire within you, to know Him in a more personal and intimate way than you've ever known Him before? I think maybe there's something more to life than just existing. Maybe there's something about life that you're not living, and you should start living life to the fullest. There's only one way to do that, and that's with the God who gave us life.